we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.
Hi, Mark Donovan here from HomeAdditionPlus. Today I'm focused on solving this problem where I've got coats and snow pants just hanging and dangling from my shoe rack. What I'm going to do is create a coat wall rack over here and about a board here with a few hooks, and that's what we're going to work on. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm cutting a 1x4 34 inches long using a skill saw. All right, so what I'm doing next is just taking some sandpaper and just lightly sanding that surface area. I'm using pre-primed 1x4 material, so all I'm going to do is just touch up with some primer on this end so we don't see the grains of wood. All right, I'm just using some primer here to touch up the end. And we'll just let this rest for half hour, and we'll go back and continue our progress in putting in this wall coat rack. Okay, I've now positioned my board where I want it secured to the wall. I'm going to make sure I'm in the studs. I've used a stud finder to find the studs, and I'm going to put 2 screws, they're 2 1/4 inch long, into this stud, and then 16 inches over, another 2 screws there as well. I'm going to pre-drill the holes with a drill bit that's the diameter of the shank on the screw, because I'm really more interested in securing into the stud and not really so tight into the wood itself. So here we go. I'm going to do the other one over here at the top. So now, before I drill the next 2 holes, I'm just going to put the screws in the top ones to make sure everything looks good before I move on. So I'm using a 2 1/4 inch finish screw nail. It's got a pretty small head on it, but even at that, I want to recess these screws into this 1x material by about 1/8 of an inch so we can plug that with some filler afterwards. So I'm taking a larger bit that's a little bit wider than the head on the screw. I'm just going to very lightly take out a little bit of material so the screw will sit flush once it's secured to the wall. So you want to take a lot of care that you don't have the drill bit bind in and start chewing away a lot of wood here. We're just going very lightly. There we go, that's all we want. We're going to do the second one over here. There we go. That's all we need to have that screw sit flush. All right, now we're just securing the board to the wall. And we don't want to over tighten it. As you can see here, it's a little recessed, which is what I wanted. And I'm just going to check with my level. Should be level. It is. So again, just lightly screw it in. There we go. We'll go ahead and do the second set of screws on the wall. And now we're going to make a slight recess in the pre-drilled pilot holes. Getting very careful here, you don't want to dig into the wood. And now we're securing the final 2 screws. So I'm using some lightweight spackle with a putty knife to fill in where these screws were put in. And once this is all dried, I'll go back and paint. But you can see here, now it's flush and it'll paint up nicely. All right, now I'm at the stage where I'm ready to install the hooks that I have here. I've spaced them 9 inches apart. I'm going to put them so that they're about 1/2 inch from the bottom. And again, 9 inches apart and about exactly 3 1/2 inches from the end of the board. So I'm just going to use these small 1-inch screws that came with the hooks to install them. All right, just for a tip here, I put 1 screw in and didn't tighten it super tight. And now I'm using my level to make sure the hook is absolutely plumb, looking at the ball up top here. And then once I have it level, I can then take my second screw and just kind of make a mark, just kind of take your finger and push on the screw just so you get a nice spot there, identification mark, and now you can drill. You might want to use a pilot hole. I'm so far in, I'm not worried about splitting the wood, but if I was closer out, I might have put a pilot hole in slightly smaller than the shank of the screw. I also find using about a 3-inch bit works great, so I can really get in here nicely and not have any interference with the hook itself as I try to use the screw gun here. There we go. And again, nice and plumb. So we're going to continue to work our way across and put the remaining hooks in. And now I'm attaching the second one. Again, just enough play so I can adjust to make sure it's plumb. Now once I've plumbed it up with a level, I'll just take my screw, very gently center it in the hole, press on it to make a mark, and now that is my kind of pilot spot, if you will, for attaching that screw. So there we have the completed wall coat rack. It took me about 2 hours of effort to do, and it involved 4 hooks. Each hook went for about $8, so roughly $32 in hooks, and a piece of 1x4 prime, which you can get any length that you need. Probably cost you anywhere from $5 to $20, depending on the length that you need. And that's really all there is to it. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions or comments about this video, just comment below. I'd like to hear your feedback, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified when I come out with my next video.
Awake, hear the birds and see the sun.